Okay, welcome back. So to study past SBL, you have to finish off all that material 3 times. Can I have a look? Now I will actually be using workbook at certain stages of our study. Workbook is actually very brief notes, but it goes with questions. And the questions is topical. I mean the question relate to that topic. But until I will need, I will tell you, okay? But I would suggest that you can actually run through the workbook. And I think they do have activity answers at the back. And you can actually check through the answers to see whether you get the right understanding. Okay? So that's the workbook. Now revision kit I won't be using at all. Okay, so can I just leave that for you to use it yourself? Can I just tell you what is in the revision kit? Now if you look at your revision kit, right? Okay. Now what they did is they actually give you the short question in the front, which is topical. Alright, if you turn to the Romans number 4, you can see that the revision kit is actually topical. The problem with our question is, it's very hard to have one question concentrated with one topic. So it's no longer like you can have 20 marks question just testing on director's pay. You don't get that kind of question. You may have one question that talks about ethics and then move on with director's pay. Then you find that maybe social responsibility, they can mix. So that's why the index, right, they never give you like what topic it's related to. But if you want to see the topic, you can turn to the next page where they actually list down, like if the questions is about agency, then you can see question number 6, question number 49, ME2, alright? Then it relates to chapter 2 from your workbook, so at least they guide you where you want to go for it. Now, towards the end of your study, when you want to prepare for the exam, there are 5 mock exam questions in the revision kit. These are the 5 sets of so-called exam style question paper. But actually, some of the mock exam are actually past year, like September 2018 question, December 2018 question, which some of them I'll do in the revision class. But what I do is I suggest you to go back and look through them towards the end. The mock exam will only be meaningful towards the end. You do the mock exam now, you can't do because a lot of things we have not acquired the knowledge. Okay? But I won't be using, but you can do it at home. Okay? At least you know the position. Alright, let's just come back to our governance again. Okay, we're talking about having dialogues with shareholder, right? And the principle says that we are supposed to have a satisfactory dialogue. Now, and the supporting principle goes on and tells us about who are the person that's usually involved in the dialogue. Now, they say that the most shareholder contact is usually the chief exec and the finance director. Okay, that's usually the main people that shareholders are very concerned with. Now, that's because the CEO, the CFO are the people that's really involved in the running of the business. These are the people that actually dealing with the money. They are the one that spend money and they are the one who make money. So that's why we expect the shareholder wants to talk directly to them or with them. Okay, but you must recognize that chairman will still have to make sure that all directors are made aware of major shareholders' concern. Okay? Now, you see, the thing is like that. Let's say I'm the major shareholder and I have some concerns about the running of the business. So I come and speak to the CEO. Now, obviously, as a CEO, you know what the shareholders' concerns are because I've just spoken to the CEO, you see. But the next question is, how do you make sure that that same concern are being communicated to the rest of the directors? You know, at the end of the day, it's not about just you and the CEO, it's about the whole board. That's why we put it a point that the chairman has to make sure that all the directors are aware of the issue. Now, basic things that you can do would include, it can be as simple as a briefing. You know, during the board meeting, you can debrief and tell them that, you know, shareholders came and spoke to us about this issue, and that's what they basically are expecting us to do. So at least they are aware, okay? Now, and then it goes on and says that the board must keep in touch with shareholder opinion. Getting the views of the shareholder, that's basically what they're saying, getting the views of the shareholder, alright? Now, in whatever most practical way, what kind of practical way that you can get shareholders to give feedback? Give me some suggestion. Take into account that you may have a lot of shareholder, you may have big shareholder that has a lot of share, and Doraemon is here. Right? Now, so okay, I heard somebody say AGM is one of the way, alright? Yeah, AGM is definitely one of the way because there's the most direct way where shareholders are told to speak up. But will all shareholders come for AGM? Okay, then what other ways that you can get shareholders to participate? Sorry? Oh, the book. The book is more of, what book is that? It's called annual report. Okay? It's called annual report. And in the annual report, there's always one section that the chairman will write, right? And that is called the page, the few pages that will be penned down by the chairman is called the letter from the chairman. You don't trust me, right? It actually is called chairman's statement. Seriously, it's called chairman's statement, alright? And it's a very important thing because it's an expression of thoughts of what the chairman has about the past and about the future of the company to the shareholder. Do you know Warren Buffett always write letter to his company shareholder? Do you know it's very famous? You Google and see. You just type Google Warren Buffett, then you put an L and then you see what come up. You just put Warren if you put LE, then you can see that the suggestion is letters to the shareholder. It's very famous one, you know. His letters to shareholders are one of his iconic things that he does every year because he writes from his heart what he wanted to tell the shareholder. And it's not short one, you know. His letter is like really, really long one. It can be like 30 pages long to tell him very detailed about all the things. So, and every year people will read the letter first. Then they will go and address him in the AGM. Have you seen Warren Buffett's company's AGM before? No, okay. Later I find the link, I share to you all. It's very big one. His AGM is like a carnival, you know. The long queue I sent to you before. Yeah, that's how it looks like. It's fantastic, man. You want to go to the AGM because you just want to feel part of it, like, wow. Okay, anyway, we don't have a chance. All right. Okay, so yeah, that's actually a way of communication, but you're not actually hitting on the point because you're saying the chairman's statement. Chairman's statement is from the chairman to the shareholder. We are talking about shareholder to the company. It's the other way. So AGM is one way. Can we collect survey? Did you remember how MCKL asked students to do survey? They give you a link and ask you to fill in a questionnaire. That's actually a way of collecting feedback, right? Now, you know, it's something like that, of collecting feedback. You know, now survey has get so advanced that Facebook has got this interactive survey that it goes with their video. Have you experienced that before? No. That means while you're playing a video, right? Okay? Okay, example. Let's say I'm a chairman. Okay? So I'm explaining to you about the company's prospect. So I talk about how bad the environment is like, and then company will be affected, blah, 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 blah. And then immediately down there in the video, the question will come out. Do you think the company is exposed to more risk now? Yes or no? See, as you listening, the survey came out. And then you can click on yes or no. Then you can see the results. This is the more interactive way of doing survey now. It's like we no longer want you to participate in the traditional way. So now participation can come even through the form of video. Because normally video you cannot participate. You only watch the video. You know? But as you watch the video, now they can ask you questions like, do you trust Donald Trump or not? You know, as Donald Trump is speaking, and I ask you, do you trust him? And you can see how many people will click yes or no. And I think that's kind of like modern way of how we can collect feedback. You can use whatever way, as long as it's practical enough that you get an insight of what your shareholder is thinking. Okay, now if you go to the next page, you can see they give some suggestion. Now, okay, let's look at provisions of the code. They say chairman should ensure views of shareholders are communicated to the board. I've said that to you. Chairman should discuss governance and strategy with major shareholder. You're told to do that, okay? Now, and how do you do that? You can have separate meetings with major shareholder, which is quite the norm. Like, you know, if you are the top 10 largest shareholder, we can invite you to come for a special briefings or meetings with the key person like chairman and CEO and talk about our directions and so on, just to listen to your view. Okay, that's quite normal. All right. Now, and then they say the non-executive director should be offered opportunity to attend meeting with the shareholder. Now, you see the way how the code phrased it is very practical. They say the NED should be offered the opportunity to attend meeting. Now, imagine, Sneha, you're NED. Okay, I'm a chairman. All right. Now, I just come to you and say, next week we're going to have a meeting with our major shareholder. I'm going for a meeting. That's it. You're like, wow, you're going for a meeting. Wow, major shareholder. I feel like going, but I didn't invite you. You see the difference? But now I have to invite because the code said offered. So now I'm going to tell you, Sneha, we're going to have a meeting with major shareholder next week, and these are shareholders who will be coming. Do you want to come? See the difference? I will have to extend an invitation. Do you want to come? So you have all right to say, yes, I want to come along. Or no, I don't want to come. But it's so different, right? Compared with the first example where I don't have to make any offer to you. I can just go by myself. But now I can make an invitation. I have to make an invitation, which is what they say. So you have to offer them opportunity. Okay, then go on and see the next one. They say, in fact, they should expect to attend if they are specifically requested by the shareholder. So if shareholder purposely say, hey, please bring along the senior independent director, I want to speak up, then you must come. Okay? Now, and senior independent director should attend sufficient meetings with the major shareholder so that you're going to have meetings with different people. Now, but please understand, what we do in practice is very simple. We don't actually need to call for a lot of meeting. It's usually the same meeting on the same day. But what we'll do is like that. Okay, for example, now you guys are the major shareholder. I'm the chairman. Okay? Now the SID or the rest of the independent directors are with me. Now let's start with a meeting with all of us. Okay? Now, so when I start the meeting, okay, this is what I'm going to tell the shareholder. Today is the time that we would like to listen to your feedback about what do you have concerns about the company. All our independent directors are here. I'm here, the SID are here. Now, then I will say that after this session, I will have one session with me alone without them. Okay, so we'll have one session. If you have any particular concerns that you only want to raise it to me, that's the session. Now, then I will let you know that after that, I will get out from the room. The SID will come in for another session. And again, if you have any concern, you raise through him. All right? Now, of course, in between, you might have breaks and so on. Now, so when, let's say we finish our first session, everybody get out. I'm the only one left. I will ask, do you have anything that you want to raise, concern the company, or concern any of the directors? Because they are not here. If you have no issue, then I will leave the room now and I'll call the SID to come in. So it could be very fasting, but you have to arrange for that because the code says. You cannot just expect all these things will happen on its own, right? You have to do it. You have to move it. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, and then it goes on and says that you have to state in your annual report the steps that you have taken, especially the NED, to understand the views of major shareholder. Now, what kind of steps? Now, they give example, face-to-face contact, face-to-face meeting, having analyst or brokers briefing, having a survey of shareholders' opinion. Okay? All right. Come down, huh? Okay, still about investors' relation. Now we come to the part about AGM, which is a very important exercise. Now, AGM usually is the way that how we would communicate with investors and shareholders. You see, the code actually gave us a principle that you should encourage the shareholders to come. All right, you should encourage the shareholders to come, which I think I've told you all many times in the past. How we encourage shareholders to come is the free gift, the door gift. That's why I always tell you that if you buy small little bit of share, even the free gift is enough to give you back the value. But you must buy those that got free gift. All right, you don't buy those. Last time my company used to give boxes of prawn, because our company have prawn culture. So we give a box, a Tupperware, the transparent box of prawn, fresh prawn. So we catch all the prawn and then shareholder come, right? Then as they come and register, we give them one box of prawn, not cheap one, big prawn, Then the shareholders start fighting. Fighting. Huh? For prawn. But they already have the allocation. We say don't fight, wait. Cannot, they don't care. Then shareholder jump to the van. Because we give out from the van, jump to the van and take over. You never see ugly things before, right? Go to AGM, you will see. You can see all sort of funny character that never. That's why I say people come with Tupperware and tapao food is so normal. You be like, they not embarrassed. Who cares? As if you remember me, man. They really come on. The moment you start and say can eat, sometimes the discussion go a bit long. There will be shareholder and stand up and say, can you please end the discussion or not? Because we are very hungry. You don't believe, go and try. Then you know. Then as they go only, the moment if it's buffet, they will straight take out their bag and tap out. Then they'll eat. You don't believe. Try. You must try. Then you see with your own eye how ugly Malaysian can be. Alright? Kiasu. Alright? Kiasu. So we used to give prawn. But because of that kind of incident, my big boss said no, we stopped giving it. Because we give also they fight, they don't appreciate, they don't follow rule, then don't give. And anyway, times are bad, so we start cutting. I remember those days, if you go and attend, which one? Is it Panasonic or Pansonic? They give you kettle, You go there, you got kettle. Those days, KFC give one thick booklet or voucher that you can go and redeem KFC one. That was the time where you are so rewarding to be a shareholder. Alright, now no more, all cut, no money already, okay? So you wait. When you come to 10 years later, maybe all these will come back. But encouraging shareholders to come is very important. Because if your AGM got no shareholder, they don't come and give their view, it's going to be very sad, right? So that's why we need the shareholders to be engaged. Now, that's what you do. Okay, then they say that during the AGM, the proposed resolution has to be separate resolution for every substantial issue. I think that's quite straightforward. It's about being fair, right? Okay, imagine I have a resolution to sell a land. I have a resolution to reappoint director. It's very different, right? Technically, you should vote 2 times. But now I lump together. Let's vote for resolution 1, which is to sell the land and to reappoint the director. So if you want to sell the land, you must reappoint the director. Or if you want to reappoint the director, you must sell the land. You don't have a choice already. Now that's being unfair, which is what they say cannot. Now, and in the resolution, normally you have what we call proxy form. What is a proxy? Yeah, proxy is a representative that you don't have to come and you can get somebody to come on your behalf. Now, is it a must? I must get somebody to come? If you don't want somebody to even come, can you still have a proxy? That means I don't want to come and I'm not sending anybody, but I want to cast the vote. Then usually what they'll do? Then the proxy goes to the chairman. That means you sign the form and the chairman will vote on your behalf according to what you sign. But most of the time, if you give away proxy, that's why if you want to attend AGM, what you do is you ask around who are your family members who has bought share, and then ask them to give you a proxy. Then you can go, alright? Then you can experience for yourself. Just go and check, they'll know, and the notice will come. Then go for the big ones. It's quite exciting. Go for the big one and the small one. It's about knowing, alright? If not, then your world will be like everything you don't know, okay? Now, so in the proxy, alright, they say that the shareholders usually will have option to direct their proxy to vote against or vote for a resolution or even to withhold the vote. What is withholding? Abstaining. Meaning you choose not to vote. Now, but this is very important. I read on, it says that you have to make it very clear that a vote withheld is not a vote in law and will not be counted. Okay? Now, that's why we always say it's much more difficult to bring down the bad guy because of the way of how voting is being made. That's why the Malaysians are very upset with the backdoor government now, because they really felt that it's a very tough battle. Alright, now what do I mean? You see, if you got, let's say I'm using a basic understanding. You've got one shareholder with 1 vote, okay? So we have 1,000 vote, let's say, 1,000 vote. But those who attend, only 600 vote. And those who say yes is 350. Is the resolution carried? Yes. Because you are measuring 350 over 600 is very more than 50%. Now the problem is because of the 400 that refuse to come. That's why they always say election, you must go and elect. If you don't like, you got to go and say no. Because by not doing anything, you give more chance on the other side to win. This is exactly what happened. If all the 1,000 came and say no, then the 350 will only be 35% only. But because of the 400 that refuse to act, right, they have indirectly assisted those people to achieve a better way of proceeding. Can you see that? Now, this is basically what we're trying to tell you, that when you have vote that you withheld or you're not voting, is actually not counted in the percentage about for or against. Okay. Now I want to go on a bit to look at proxy. Now proxy vote, it's a very important measure for a couple of reasons. Can you tell me why proxy is important? What do you think? From your own common sense, why do you see proxy it's something necessary? What's the reason? Why do we need to have proxy? Wait, don't be like that. Come faster. What's the need? Why do you want to allow shareholder to be able to cast vote without even attending? That's the whole idea of proxy, right? I don't need to attend, but I can still vote. You know, our general election is so expensive. You cannot vote by not being there, right? You have to be there to vote. I know. That's why you must be there at that time. So imagine if that time you cannot come, you're not around, you're not in KL, you're not in Kampong, you cannot vote already. So it's very expensive one. Postal vote is only on very specific reasons. So if you go overseas for holiday, how? No, there's no postal vote. So that's why it's not easy one. That's why our votes are very expensive. That's why people are so angry. The last election, before that one election, everybody thought they can change the government. And all my friends all purposely fly back. Australia also fly back. And you don't know when is the election, you know. They announce only it's a surprise. So they have to book the ticket. My friend come back, the air ticket 4,000 ringgit. Just come back to vote. And lost it. And they're so geram. And they give up hope. They said, we don't going to vote again. But last election, come back. They vote and change. And everybody was so happy. And today now we got people playing backside. We can come from the back, my you know. Useless punya government, okay? But it's okay lah. These are I think very normal. Our Malaysian politics not so mature. So that's why we have not seen much of all this. But actually you see in UK all that is quite normal. Okay? So you are entering a more matured phase of the political arena. So actually it's a good thing. Okay, it's a good thing. Okay, back to this. So why is proxy important? Is to be what? To be present. It is to what? To allow fair lah. To be fair. It's fairness because you know I can't be there. Imagine if you buy, okay, let's say you buy share in US and they call for an AGM in US, you purposely fly there. You probably thinking it's so expensive for what? But now we say it's okay, you can fill in the letter and send. Fair, right? So actually one of the reasons is for fairness. It's to make voting less expensive. That's what we're saying, okay? Okay, what other reason why proxy is good? Now, this one, okay, I'm not sure if you think of that. This one, it's usually because when there's generally a split in opinion, especially between the smaller shareholder and the bigger shareholder, because of viewpoint, all right? Now, example, the institution shareholder felt that there is a necessity to go ahead with the project. But the minority felt that no, they don't want. But that's probably because they cannot see the benefit, all right? Now, let me ask you a question. You know, this not CIMB, RHB wanted to merge with which company? This one happened 2 years back. Is it Hong Leong or CMB? Okay, anyway, you go and Google first. Okay, RHB and another, I think it's CMB, right? CMB wanted to merge. See, one of the shareholder, okay, anyway, that was one of the shareholder who bought RHB was the Middle East investor, which they bought at very high price. So they were one of the main person that opposed, because if you merge, you're going to lose a lot of money, all right? Okay, but question is like that. If these two banks merge, is good or not good? How do you know? With our limited mind that we have so limited knowledge and we don't have access to all the privileged numbers and data, how do you know that at the end of the day it's going to be better off or not? If I do not know, how am I supposed to cast my vote? Or what if because I do not know I voted in a wrong manner, I go against it, but when it's actually good for them to merge? Now that kind of things is quite normal, okay? It's quite normal that you have that kind of split. So the use of proxy is very effective in an environment like that. The example, the major shareholder can use proxy. Now then they will not attend the AGM. And when they don't attend AGM, they can what? Avoid the possible confrontation. Okay, they can avoid the possible confrontation with the rest of the shareholder. Okay, let's get the feeling right. Imagine all of us are shareholder. You are all the kuchi rat, the small shareholder that got 5,000 share, 10,000 share, alright? All of you add up, not even 1% share. Okay? I'm a major shareholder, I got 35% share. So I'm a very big say, you know. Alright? You also small only. But in the AGM, we ask the shareholder to vote for and vote against. All of you say against, and I'm the only one say for. Do you know how I feel intimidated? How when everybody look at me and like your eyes like want to eat me up? But you don't have the power, you know, because you're all so small. But you have that physical strength. You're like gangster. So I don't think I want to face you guys in the AGM in that kind of environment. So is it better if I don't come? But I can still vote? Now that's why proxy is important for that kind of scenario. That I don't have to be there and yet I will vote it. That's why even before the AGM, right, we more or less will know whether the decision will go ahead or not. We know it because most of the proxy will come, and from the proxy we have more or less garnered the percentage of votes that say yes. We roughly know it. That's what we are saying. Okay. Now, so and because of that, the third thing of having proxy is the time that we need to manage things. Like if we know that a resolution is carried because of the proxy vote, wow, we can begin to plan earlier. Okay, we don't really have to wait until we know the result. You know, it's like election. You really don't know who win, who lose until that very day one. That's why everything got to stop. Alright, everything got to stop. But at least if I know beforehand that I will be able to go ahead, I don't really have to wait until that day. I can start doing all the work already while waiting for the result to be formalized. Can you see that? Like, for example, the planning, the discussion can go on while waiting for the AGM or EGM to have it formalized. Okay, now this is a bit about proxy voting, which is very important. Okay, then they also say that all the proxy has to be recorded, counted. They also require company to reveal the result. Now this is something that it's practiced quite differently. For example, in UK, they still practice this thing called a show of hand. They say if resolution where a vote has been taken through a show of hand. Now, what is a show of hand? Now, example, let's say I'm the company secretary. I'm going to read up a resolution, a proposed resolution. Okay, I propose that we will actually reappoint so and so to be director. Now, can we have somebody to agree to that? So one person will say yes, another person second. Okay, then I'll ask you all to vote. Now, how do I ask you all to vote? Show of hand. So if you agree for this resolution, please raise your hand. Then generally, you see all the shareholders raise up the hand. Now, because most shareholders raise up the hand, it gives us an impression that everybody agrees. Then we say, okay, with that, I will take the resolution is carried. Okay, that means pass it. But, okay, that's why you're going to ask, what, like that one? Because your hand, my hand, very different, you know. Your one hand maybe got 5,000 shares, my one hand got 5 million shares. So that's why my hand and your hand value is so different. Although impression, but the reason why we do that is, as I said, we already know the resolution is carried because of the proxy that we have. We know already. That's why it's only a formality to say, let's raise your hand. But Malaysia don't practice that. Malaysia practice, they call polling. That means you have to fill in the form and pass to the box, and then at the end you will have a person, a share registrar to be there to take out all the form and then calculate one by one. Then they will announce to the exact number of share for or against. Now, of course, that's the most accurate method, but that's very time consuming. You probably have to wait. Imagine a company is big, you might have to wait 1 hour just for them to do the counting. So that's basically what they do. So, but they say, even if you use a show of hand, even if you do that, you still have to make available the results. Example, they say you can put up in the website the results of the voting. So you cannot just simply say carry, then nobody know. People say got cheating, no cheating, we don't know. But this is something that you have to release the result. Okay, the chairman should arrange of the chairman of the audit remuneration nomination committee to answer question, and all the directors are supposed to attend, and normally the notice for AGM should be at least 20 days before the meeting. Now, if you really want to test whether the NEDs are doing their work or not, right, then you go to AGM. Then when you ask question, you can ask like that. Now, I have a questions concerning the accounts. And because this is an accounts questions, I would direct the questions to the chairman of the audit com. And I would like the rest of the people not to answer the question because he's the chairman of audit com, he must know the answer. So you ask him. Then the fellow mouth open, that means he's not doing his work. So if you really want to test NED whether they are really contributing or not, this is one of the way as a shareholder. You direct questions to the specific person. Because normally if you see the smaller listed company, the smaller listed company, one person do all the talking with. The rest all sit down only. That's why they always say like NED is there to take free money. You see, not? Because they don't do work, they don't know what's happening, which is very bad governance. Alright, so now you know the knowledge, right? You know what to do, right? Go. Okay, wow, then you carry name. People always ask like, wow, who is this shareholder? Always ask this sort of thing. Okay, then remember, I come from MCKL. I'm ACCA student. Okay, so we finished this part and we're all done. Okay, I will go on to this part on institutional investor. Can you come to page 80? Wait, Okay, can you come to page 94? Okay? Okay, Now, let's look at institutional investors. Now, whether you call institutional investors or institutional shareholders, they're more or less the same thing. The only thing is the before and after lah. You become an institutional shareholder because you have bought the share. Okay. What's the key difference between an institutional shareholder? Okay, institutional shareholder. Now, if people like you and me buy the share, how do you label ourselves in contrast with institutional shareholder? Individual, or normally we call ourselves as a private shareholder. Okay? We call ourselves as a private shareholder. There are more words being used in the practice. It's just to be a bit more fancy. Most of the time, practice will call us as the retail shareholder. We are the retailer. Okay? Retail shareholder, institution shareholder, alright, and also the foreign investors. And every day we can see the participation. Who are the people buying? Who are the people selling? Okay? We have the statistics, alright? It's actually released so that people will know the level of participation that we have. And you can see that from the day when we have this political crisis, the foreign investors are the one been selling our share in hundreds of millions by the days, alright? So by now it's already billions being sold off, okay? And that's the reason why our share keep dropping. We cannot sustain the share market if you don't have foreigners to come in, because you need all of them to participate. Our Malaysia investment size is very small. We can't hold up ourselves. Okay. Okay. Come back to this institutional and private shareholder. How different are they? If I ask you to give me the differences in their characteristics, just tell me. How different are these two? The differences between the two. Okay, so the size of investment, alright, so size of investment. Okay, the size of investment, it's really, really different. Alright, size of investment. And what is the implication as a result of the size of investment? You know, if institution buy, right, they don't buy so little, they buy in bulk. They can buy all the way until a share price is so affected. Now, they can one shot buy up to millions of shares, which you can't. Okay, you can't afford. Now, if you want to buy, let's say even you want to buy public bank share, you know how much is public bank share? It's close, I don't know what's the price now, maybe 17 or 18 ringgit. How many share can you buy? Can you even buy 1 million share? You can't buy 1 million share because you don't have so much money. So sometimes when you open up the stock investment apps to look at the buyer and the seller, you can see the volume queuing to buy the share. We don't talk about whether they are done or not, we just say the value of the volume. If it's done, the volume can easily be 20, 30 million. Who can has that money to even park there and say, I will buy 1 million? Yeah, I'm not necessarily ETF, but it's institution. It's never us. We don't have that capacity already because it's too big. You know? So the size of investment is a major difference. Now, because they can buy so much, they are able to move the share price, right? So they will be more what? They will be more influential. They had better say what? Correct? Imagine for you to go and tell them that, hey, you know, I don't agree with this thing. Chances is the board has to take it more seriously because of that influence. Okay? Now, size of investment. Yeah, that's one. Okay, what other differences? Interest. Okay, I would say that the skill part and the knowledge part. Okay? The skill, the knowledge. Example, they normally have their fund managers that are more qualified. Okay, they study more, they know more, alright? They have more access to information, that's definitely for sure. The reason why they have more access to information is because usually the board will have briefings to the institution. So they may have privileged information that we don't have. Like they may know earlier, like what kind of plans that the company going to do for the next few years. Now all that is another thing. Yeah, the skills and the knowledge. Okay, what other things that will be very different? Who is representing them? Yeah, the agency relationship. Yeah, that's a very, very good point, okay, which is one of the things I want to highlight, agency relationship. Now, what is the agency relationship? Like, what capacity are you taking? Okay, what capacity are you taking? Now, as a private investor, a private shareholder, what is your capacity? Shareholder, right? And you are the shareholder, full stop. You are just the shareholder. And you are accountable for your own investment because it's you, your own investment. But can I know when institutions buy share, what capacity are they? Are they shareholder as being a principal or are they being an agent? Is EPF an agent or EPF a principal? Hello? What kind of silence is this? Is EPF an agent or EPF a principal? Do you think EPF has to account for somebody? Who? We all, because our money is in EPF, right? Can you see or not? They have to account for us. But at the same time, they are also the principal, right? Principal to who? To those companies that they bought the share. That's why they have a dual capacity. They are at the same time a principal and at the same time an agent. They are acting for somebody also. Now, so that's a dual role that they are playing. Now, and that dual role that they play can result in a lot of agency conflict one. Okay, example. If EPF is going to start buying the share of a company, what will happen to the share price? It can go up, It can go up very significantly, Alright? Now, if at the same time EPF is going to sell the share in the company, it can go down also. So let me ask you, if I am the fund manager in EPF, and I have decided that I'm going to buy a share of a company, if I'm going to do that, can I benefit from my decision? Can I get a personal benefit out of it? Ming Yang, next week, I will start buying this XYZ in huge volume because I have evaluated EPF think that's a good buy. I'm going to buy a lot, okay? That's all. I just tell you that only. I don't have to tell you anything. You understand? Okay. So what will Ming Yang start doing? He buy now. He buy now, buy all the huge volume as cheap as he can. Then next week EPF come in and buy. What will he do? Sell to who? EPF. Then Ming Yang will call me out. Mr. Lau, thank you. Nah. Okay, this is for you. Alright? Wow, you see, these are conflict of interest. Do you think it happens? What do you think? Every day, man. Alright? If you're in this line, you know how dark the industry can be. If not, let me ask you a question. Tabung Haji can make billions of losses. Think about that. How do they make billions of losses? Very easy one. Example, I just give you an example of one dark industry secret. But not so dark because everybody knows this is how they practice. Okay? Now I have a lot of share in this company. Alright? Because my role as an operator, for example, I have a lot of share in this company. Now I need to sell off the share in order for me to convert it into profit. So what I'll do is I will talk to your Tabung Haji fund manager. I'll come and ask you, hey, Can I sell one block of share to you? Alright, one block of share at 2, let's say now the market price is 2 ringgit lah. I sell to you at 180 lah. Okay, I sell to you at 180. See, it's cheaper than market price, man. Is it not? But I sell you 5 million shares. Now then you're gonna ask me, what do I get? Okay, every share you buy, I give 10 cents, your commission. Of course, it's all record. So I'll carry bags of cash in front of you. 5 million share, 10 cents, 500,000, you know. As a fund manager, that your salary is not much. Will you want to take that 500,000? And it's in cash, right? You just do transaction over the car park. Will you want? Will you want? Don't want? You sure? Wow, immediately she say one. Hey, hello, how do you study ethics? I'm so disappointed, alright? You must say no. Can you say no? No, but you see, this is the problem. The person will just take it. Now let me ask you, after you've taken this money, the fund will have to rightfully pay the money and buy the share, right? At 180. Okay, what will the next thing the fund do? Or what will be the next thing you might want to do? Huh? Resign? Why? Hello, it's a good position to make money, you resign. Who is afraid of getting caught? Which prime minister want to resign? It's a jukebox, man. You shake, 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 the thing will just come down. So what will you do next? Okay, find someone to repeat. Okay, exactly. But to repeat, you must have money. Hey, the fund also got money, man. The fund also got restriction. Let's say you use up all the money to buy this counter. Now you got no money already. What you gonna do? You sell. You sell. Just sell like nonsense. Huh? Sell back so that you get back your money. So when you start selling, you buy at 180. You probably got to sell at 130. Because you just want to take back then immediately the loss is there. So everybody make money. I make money because I sold to you at 180. I give you 10 cent commission. My cost is 190, right? Alright, but now I buy back at 130. Wow, immediately I have a gain in the difference. Then you get your commission. Everybody gain. Who lose? Jokers like us. The public will always lose because this is all our money. So end of the day, nobody cares. That's why the corrupted government can cause so much damage to the economy. Because end of the day, the wealth is concentrated in the hand of the 1 or 2 individuals. And all of us will suffer the pain. So this is the problem that we are having. Alright? That's why as a fund, the conflict of interest is so significant. And it must be addressed. But question is, are we addressing it? Do we have important measures to ensure that this problem will not occur? Okay? But that conflict is very real. Now that's the dual role that they are playing. So you see, because of that dual role that they are playing, how as an institutional investor, they must protect the other shareholder, especially the minority. Okay, how as an institutional investors, they must protect the other shareholder, especially the minority. At least there's something that we ask them to do, okay? So, and of course, I'm not saying all people are bad guys. We have good people in this world. We have people that even you give them a lot of money, they will still say, no, I'm not interested in that, okay? So please don't feel so discouraged, okay? Now, but the institutions have been reminded that there are certain things that they have to actually intervene. The word is called intervene, okay? Intervene. Now, intervene, it's basically to interrupt with their activities and to tell them that we are not happy with something. Alright? Okay, what kind of reason for institution to intervene? Now, I'll just go run through this with you and give you some suggestion that what does it mean. Now, we should intervene if you're not happy with strategy. Okay, example, it's when you have off direction strategy or a misaligned strategy okay, a misaligned strategy. What kind of misalignment of strategy can you think of? Misalignment of strategy means you're going a direction that the shareholders are not expecting, that they don't want. Quote me a few examples. In the exam, you cannot just say misaligned. You must know what kind of misalignment. Example, can risk be an example of misalignment? Like going into an investment that's far too risky than what shareholder wants to take? That's one of it, right? Risk, okay? Example, risk. Can value be a misalignment? Okay, example, I tell my shareholder that I'm going to start investing in Cambodia to operate casino. Good money, you know. Alright? If you see the top 10 Malaysia riches, 2 of them are coming from casino background. Alright? Sorry? One is Genteng, one is the other guy, I forgot his name, but he's operating casino in overseas. Alright? So dirty money. Dirty money always bring you rich very fast. Okay? But please, don't look into that because you may have sleepless night. Alright? And you get very fearful when you're about to die. Because when you're old at that time, you start think back all the bad things that you do. That's why always when they say buy share, one of the good way of buying share is go for those companies that the board director all old people. Because old people, they know they're going to die. They don't do bad things. They are more honest. Okay? That's why public bank, you see all the directors very old, right? That's why the bank is very honest. Okay? So go for old people. Alright? Now, I don't know whether you agree or not. Okay? Now, anyway, back to this. So, one example is value. Like if you invest in casino, but shareholders are not into that. Now, maybe casino is something towards unethical. Or maybe they invest into weaponry. They sell weapon or they make weapon, and that basically encourage war. Alright? Now, operational performance. Okay, in what sense that operationally your performance is a concern? If you make too much profit, then the institutional shareholder can ask you, why you make so much profit? Slow down a bit. Correct or not? Yeah, don't make so much profit. Hey, come on, slow down. It's like you always get number 1 in the exam. Hey, please don't take so many A lah. Hello, slow down, take some B. Make sense? No lah, okay? It should be the other way around, right? Why you keep failing? Again E F Hey, hello, how many F you want? Formula 1 man, okay? So that's the intervention that you come in. So why do you intervene when the company is what? Yeah, performing bad means, example, they keep on making losses. You give me an example that companies in Malaysia, you have seen that a lot. Proton, Highcom, Mars, enough example, no? It's all the loss-making company that they keep on intervening. The government keep coming in and step in to do something. Because, you know, now, so sustaining or having prolonged losses. Okay, acquisition or disposal strategy is usually when the company decided to buy something or to sell something that you don't quite like it. Like, for example, if you hear Tenaga Nasional want to buy one of the energy company that 1MDB going to sell, what is your response? Why would you want to buy a company that belongs to 1MDB? Everybody knows that's like helping the government to bail out the problem. Because now you may not agree. Now that's where acquisition disposal strategy may require intervention. Example, you are buying something overpriced, or you're selling something that is too good for the company, that it should not be spin off. Okay. Number 4 is quite important. Independent directors not holding executive management to account. So we are suggesting about the ineffective NED. So give me an example of why do you find NEDs are not effective? Now, one is because you have insufficient number of NED. If you think the board is not sufficiently made up of NEDs, right, then obviously the NEDs can't do much, okay? Now, another reason is you feel the NEDs are not independent, all right? Another example is when you find that they are not independent. Now, give one example is you have a very long-standing non-executive directors. Like, for example, the NED is already there for 15 years. But the board still say that that guy is independent. What do you think? 15 years in the board and they continue to say he's still independent. You may not like the idea, right? And say that, hey, you don't have other people to choose, man. You can change what? Because you're not, that's why the code tells us up to 9 years is long enough. You should change. Now, then you can act by intervening and say, I think it's time for you to change director. Okay? Now, these are examples of why the independent directors are not holding management to account. That means they are not doing their job. Okay? Internal control failing. Okay, from perspective of a company, do you think you will know that internal control failed? As investors or as a shareholder, will you know that internal control failed? Possible? Okay, if you say you will know internal control failed, my next question is how? How do you know internal control failed? Auditors report tell you internal control failed. Please rethink your statement. Do auditors make statement about internal control failing or not? No, auditors don't do that. Auditors are not supposed to do that. We have said already. When I compare US and UK practice with you, I've told you, we don't tell shareholders about internal control. That's not our job. Not like US, which is part of the requirement. That's why it's quite different. We don't tell. So you will never be able to tell from the annual report. I'm expecting an answer. Hey, everything I ask you like diam like that. How can? Okay.
Maybe someone working inside.
Someone working inside, go and tell the shareholder.
Maybe a manager.
How to tell the shareholder in the first place? I mean, if you say that someone working inside so unhappy, they want to come and tell the shareholder, but the question is, how do you tell? But how?
Maybe a friend generate and maybe choice for you.
Yeah, but still you must have an access to the person, man. You know, it's so different. Like you say, if you whistleblow to the audit com, I can understand because audit com is part of the company. They come up with a measure that you can report to them. But I don't think there will be a measure for you to report to shareholder. Now, that's why you see, technically, we will never know that the internal control is not doing well. Because shareholders are not supposed to know all these details. Now, but then why they ask us to intervene when internal controls are failing? Now, internal controls fail, we will not know, but we will be able to see symptoms. For example, will you think that if the students keep not coming for class, suggests to me that there's some kind of problem? Will you not think that because the student keep failing the exam and get very bad marks, like 20 marks or below, suggests to me that there's some problem? Now then you probably will say if there is a problem, maybe we got to go further and dig what's the issue, right? Now that's why internal control failing is usually suggested through symptom. Give me an example of why you believe that there's something wrong with the internal control. You will believe the company had internal control problem. Example? Okay, performance issue which we covered earlier. Other example? Yeah, a fraud could be bringing into questions like why the fraud occur. Having a fraud is usually good enough for us to question about the internal control. or you have any kind of adverse event. Now, example, you know, recently a few construction blocks got problem, right? Yeah, crash. If you buy the condo, are you scared now? Huh? Yes, even if I tell you, don't worry. Everything is like, it's pure accident. It's during construction. Don't worry, it's all fine. After you stay in the house, you scared, not? You still scared, right? That is reputation risk. And that's how important reputation risk is to a company, because it carries so much value. Now, anyway, back to this question. If I'm a shareholder of this company, that suddenly the construction, you just imagine right after you see this building, and suddenly the next week you come a crash at it, the whole building gone. Now, will you not suspect what went wrong? Now, that is something that will prompt you to get the board to look into what's wrong with the internal control. So, adverse event. Okay? Adverse event. It's usually one good indicator that internal control might have just gone wrong. Okay, inadequate succession planning is usually to do with what? How do you see that there is an inadequate succession planning? Usually the sign is very simple. When you see what? Yeah, very old BOD and you don't see any potential people that will come and take over. Alright? Now that's always the issue. That's why is it Malaysia got this problem? When the government crash, everybody is guessing who can be the next prime minister. You know, the questions they ask is like they are saying that actually all the politicians are all donkeys. No one fit to be a prime minister until we don't know like who can be. Until when Muhyiddin come out, he's so surprised. Everybody's so surprised. Muhyiddin. And Muhyiddin come out and say, give me a chance lah. Hey, I didn't lie, right? He said that, give me a chance lah. Trust me lah. He said, Malaysia, trust me lah. Let me try first. Try, country, Okay, 20 over million life in your hand. You try, right? Sorry, I always make fun with the government. Very interesting. Malaysia, no end of story. Okay, now, so that is example of succession planning issue. So you don't wait until the problem come, then we need to do something. That's why as an institution, you should start asking. I think the CEO is rather old. So do you have in mind who will be the person that will take over? And have you got plan to start doing the changeover or handover? Now that is the kind of thing we ask. Now, unjustifiable failure of compliance. It's like whenever they fail to comply with the code, but they cannot give a good reason. Or if they kept on giving the same reason, that means it's like they purposely don't comply. Then they keep on telling you, oh, that's the reason. To us, that's an excuse. Okay? Now, directors' remuneration is not appropriate. Usually like what? Usually is the ED that we are concerned because they are usually paid more. So, but what kind of problems with ED? You give me an example of package that will make you like roll your eyes up like that. When they have too much of what? Sorry? Salary, yes. When they have too much of guaranteed element or non-performance element. If you remember, I shared with you about this Sapura Energy, is it? The one that I told you, the chairman, the CEO, got huge amount of pay even when company is loss-making. All right. Now that's something that's why EPF stepped in and voiced out their dissatisfaction. Okay. And at the end, EPF can't do much, so EPF sell the share. Okay. Now, a poor approach to CSR. Usually, poor approach to CSR occurs when, again, you come across something unethical. Okay. So if you embroil into all these unethical issues, like maybe your business is found cheating, all right? So it's quite normal to have a lot of so-called, we say business probity issue, that business are not so honest, that they cheat, all right? Now, all that kind of issues are worth intervening. And if you want to intervene, the question is, how do you do that? Now, these are the forms of intervention. Quite straightforward. They say one is to hold meetings with management, make appointments, speak to them. Now, if management, you talk to them, they don't listen, then what do you do? Now, then the next thing is you can try to go through advisor so that the advisor will advise them. You know, this is like, for example, you keep complaining about your husband or your boyfriend and then he doesn't want to listen, then you complain to the mother, right? Tell the mother, hey, explain, I see your son like that. Can say, so you talk to the advisor. So advisor may try to influence, okay? Now if advisor also can't do much, then you will go through the independent directors. Okay? And independent directors may act in two ways. One, they may advise. So they can, through their view, to advise the rest of the ED. Now, the other way is they can vote against any proposal. Because if really the institution are so against it and now we come to a point that we can't stop, so what we'll do is we try to get the independent directors to vote against the proposal. Okay? Now, you can go through joint intervention. It's basically how we can increase our power. That means the degree of your influence. Okay? Now, making a public statement before the AGM or EGM. You see, the whole idea is, okay, I used the same example just now. I talked about the merger of RHB Bank with another bank. M-Bank and RHB Bank. Then another one, right? There are three banks, MASB, is it? Okay. Okay, it's okay. It's not important. Now the merger is being proposed. It's on the table. We're going to call for, let's say, EGM to vote. You are one of the shareholders. You either say yes or no. But you be like, if it's a yes, is it good? If it's a no, is it good? You really don't know. Then on what basis you're going to vote? Now, EPF come out and say, these are our stand. We think it's a bad idea for merger. We list down the point. After you read, I think quite sensible. Okay, I follow EPF. They say no, I'll say no. So that is why a public statement is important to let you understand the stand of the institution. Okay, I'm just giving a suggestion how it works. Now, submitting resolution at shareholders meeting is the same as calling for EGM because resolution normally come from director. This is a shareholder resolution. That means proposal come from shareholder. Now, and the last, usually very hostile thing that they want to do is to change the board. Because once you change the people, alright, once you change the people, you change the way how they govern. That's why the Malaysians are so disappointed when the change of government occur. Because once the people change, the style of running the country will follow the people already. So that's the issues that we're having. Okay? Alright, now I finished out all these issues concerning the code. So it's all done already. The rest all I just leave it for you to read. Alright, you can try to understand how it works. Okay, let me stress again on whatever we have done. It's a lot of issues or measures that require you to remember. Alright? But I cannot tell how much they will have this thing covered in the exam. Because of the last two exams. December, we see a sudden drop in governance because students say totally no governance. I didn't see the question because we don't have, so I don't know. Okay, at least last exam in March, governance come back, but it's just a small part. I think it's something like 10 marks, something like that. Okay, so you can see we spend so much time to go through all that, but that's the problem. So don't try to do all this towards the end. I suggest you to do your reading now while you have time, so that towards the end you can shift your concentration on other parts. Okay, now let's go to integrated report. That's a very important thing, okay? Page 96. Have you all studied integrated report now? SBR? No. Not yet, not yet. Okay, so this is the first time. Okay, good. Now, what is an integrated report? What does the word integrated report cast an impression to you? Financial report, you tell people financial report, they know the report is about what? Money. It's called financial report, okay? So if I tell you this is an integrated report, what is in your mind? So many things that they put together. Integrate means put together. You see, now, so let me give you the history of why the idea of integrated report was even mooted. Okay. Now, the early days of reporting, reports are seen to be inadequate. Like the last 50 years. Okay, let's talk about the last 50 years. Now, reports are seen to be inadequate. They say it's not enough information that we can give to our shareholder, so as they read, they don't see much things. All right. Now, what is the solution? Give more to them. That's why we notice that there is a race among all the companies to give more and more and more information to all the investors and shareholders. Now, that race of coming out with more information result in a problem. What's the problem? Yeah. You know how terrible it's the amount of information they give to the extent that now I'm talking about before digitalization. In UK, the UK Post make a policy that their postman will only send 2 annual reports in a day. It's a health and safety measure. Because the annual report gets so thick, it's like a telephone book. But I don't know whether you've seen a telephone book or not. Yes. You seen before? Huh? Sorry? Yellow pages. Yellow pages usually not so thick. But the telephone book is very thick. I don't know whether you have that. I don't know whether you have enjoyed that part of your life before or not. That you like the girl in the class. You really like her, alright? But you don't know how to get her phone number. So you go and find the house address, You go and find house address. So she stay nearby. I know the girl stay in Setapak Jaya. So I go and find the Setapak Jaya, the Jalan. But don't know which house. Then you guess the father's name from the surname. Then if the name is Chong, then you look for Chong. This one Chong. Then you start to highlight a few names. Then you call one by one to find out. Wow, you see that's the amount of effort we go through just to find the phone number of a girl. Wow, y'all don't have y'all. Of course, I've been young, okay? We like all that because it's yes, but nothing much. We just find and we feel achieved. Not the girl, we feel achieved because we found the number. Just ask her, and then the person is there. Then when the father call the girl, then we hang out the phone. All right? Or the father asks, "Who are you calling? Why are you looking for my daughter?" Wow,
So this is the call for prank.
No it's call for personal ego to feel 我找到 yeah short and lyric okay 找到了 alright that's all only phone number wow then you go to school and brag I found a number but sorry you all don't know this joy okay so the phone book really thick one and every house got one phone book that you must go and collect from telecom okay so that's what we used to be that's why that is the history of what happened until the UK Post say because the annual report is so thick like a phone book, they cannot carry for you. If not, they will have back injury. So one postman can only send 2 books a day. Now you imagine if you got thousands of shareholders, not enough postman, how? That's why the way things evolve is because of the problem. That's the reason why digitalization become more important. That's the reason why people start to go into CD. Because they find that the CD is a better way of storing information and it's much lighter. You know? So all that is how things is changed. Okay? Now, so the reports from inadequate become explosive report. Too much information. Okay? Now, because the report is so explosive, they have problems now. What kind of problems they have? One, it's beyond what you need. The information inside is beyond what you need. Alright? So you have information overload beyond what is needed for its purpose. Okay? Now, number two, there's also a lot of redundancy. You just repeat the same thing again and again. You look at our syllabus. How many times you learn corporate governance? How many times you learn agency? You don't tell me this is the first time. Cannot be one. See, the problem is we keep on repeating. Right from the start until now, you'll be seeing the same thing again and again. So imagine if we just cut all these things and put at one paper, then probably ACCA don't need 13 paper already. Maybe 7 paper can finish already. Correct or not? So the information be overloaded. That's why one day ACCA will call integrated ACCA. So you don't have to study so many, okay? Spend 5 paper, graduate already, alright? Say only, say. It won't happen, okay? You know why? Yeah, if like that, no money. That's why SBL, it's a trick to make more money for ACCA. Because once you fail 2 paper, you know. The exam fee so expensive. I say only, I'm joking. Hello. Sorry, ACCA, sorry. Alright. Okay. Propaganda. Okay. Number 3. Now, the information is not only redundant. We also face problem with consistency. It's like example, different unit publish their own reports. And they resort to their own terminology. They resort to their own presentation style. So end up you feel like it's not the same company. It's like, hey, why this guy, the report, the theme is so different from this one, and the term they use here and the term they use there is so different. You know, that kind of things all happen. Now, that is the issue that we face after that evolution. From not enough information to too much information. So what is the solution? Now, the solution is basically IR. Let's integrate everything together. Have you all seen an annual report in your life? Try and just Google one and read. Okay? Just Google annual report public bank. Alright? And see how thick is the report. It's as thick as your textbook, you know. And do you expect investors to read all that? You see, there's so much information in the annual report, you actually don't need one. Now, don't talk about annual report, just talk about financial statement. Do you know in the financial statement, there's so many things that you don't actually need? You look at the notes. The notes will start with number 1, your reporting framework. All the IFRS that you actually be using. Who cares about that? Note 2 is accounting policy. The accounting policy can come to 5-6 pages long. Who cares about that? Correct? No? Then you see all the notes, a lot of information we don't care about. As investors, what are we care about? We just want to see the profit, the cash flow, the dividend. No, we just see the profit, the cash flow, the balance sheet, 3 things only. How many papers do you need? I mean, maybe 4 or 5 lah, because sometimes the info is a bit long lah, but maybe 5 pages. You give me one stack of thing with finance. Okay, I don't talk about annual, just financial statement. It can be as much as up to 80 to 90 pages. You see, 80 to 90 pages, you only need about 3 to 5 pages of information. The rest all rubbish. No shareholder read through everything, right? You see, no? That's the problem. You don't need so much. Now, so IR trying to address this by extract the most important info from different reports. Okay? Now, different reports will comprise of information like what? Okay, example, they take financial statement, they take a few pages, put it inside, which will comprise of, like I say, the P&L, the balance sheet, and stuff like that. Now, then what other things that will be most important? Now, for example, risk will be a very important information. So they take information about risk, they put it in. What else that you think is important? Now, for example, things about governance, you put it in. Like director's pay, which is very important, you put it in. Okay? Now, if you think that there are important things on CSR, you put it in. So you take the most important information of various reports and extract them out and put it in. But you see, when you start extracting things and put it in, consistency is very important. Because if you don't have consistency, the report becomes so hard to understand. That's why we have to make sure everybody speaks the same language. Okay. So now when you have this integrated report, which is the result of integrating everything together, how thick do you think an integrated report looks like? I have a sample, but I see I can find another. Sorry, I'm very disorganized. I should have extract everything out and put in one folder. Let me see. Annual report. Sorry, I should have searched, right? Why am I so stupid? I cannot find. Sorry, I thought I was showing you how an integrated report looks like. But somehow I lost my file. Let me see if I can find Coca-Cola one. Don't have. Sorry, it's probably my old computer. I find and share to you. Okay, it's really not so integrated. The integrated report of Bank, which is a South African bank, it's about 400 pages. And that's the result after they integrated. So can you imagine if they don't integrate? So now we are still actually back to the same thing. Even after integrate, it's still very thick. It's still very hard for us to read, okay? Now, okay, let's just back to one thing. After you come up with a report, you come up with the idea that you want to integrate everything together, right? The most important thing is a report will only serve a purpose if you know what is the purpose for. So what is the ultimate purpose of preparing an integrated report? What do they want to achieve? What does the report tell? It's to tell how the company create value. Now, that's why primarily integrated report. Now, if you see this logo, that's the trademark for integrated report. The bracket is like that. Okay, that's the trademark. So every time when they talk about, they actually register this, that's the trademark. So each time when you see that, that's actually indicating integrated report. Now, the whole idea of integrated report is to give a report to financial capital provider. Okay, financial capital provider. Okay, who do you think are the provider of financial capital? Shareholder? Only shareholder? What kind of investors? I know investor. What kind of investors? Creditors, yeah. So, example, it could be shareholder. It could be loan from creditors. How they create value overnight. Okay, now we show them what we call the capital cycle. Okay, we show them what they call the capital cycle. Okay, it's actually a very simple thing. The concept is really nice, noble, all right? We won't go into the full detail of what you need to do, but just to get a concept of why integrated report is very important. Now, I will begin off with explaining to you the meaning of capitals. There are 6 types of capitals. So can you come to page 97? Okay, just look at the capitals that we have. You see, the major problem we have in the traditional financial statement, all right, the traditional financial statement is the way they recognize capital. Now, can I know when you do accounts, in order for a value to go inside your financial statement, what is the basic requirement? It must be what? Okay, maybe I ask an easier question for you to understand what I'm asking. You know goodwill, right? Okay, goodwill come from? Extra payment. You pay more than the net asset. Well, you okay? You got idea, but wrong. But it's okay. At least you got idea. You pay more than what? I think we asked before, right? Fair value, right? Okay, that is what goodwill. Sorry? What's the goodwill? I thought you just said something. Faster, faster. Lunch, hungry. What goodwill is that? It's called purchase goodwill. The goodwill is called purchase goodwill. What's the opposite of purchase goodwill? Internally generated goodwill. Now, why we never recognize internally generated goodwill? Why? It is a goodwill, right? I mean, you look at it, it is a reason of how we make money. Why you never recognize that? What's the reason? No proof. Okay, that's not the accounting word. It's not measurable. Yes, the word is measure reliably. Now that is the important thing. That's why if you remember R&D, research and development, what is the criteria for you to capitalize development costs? You know development cost is not supposed to be capitalized unless you can prove the criteria, right? Sorry? No, that's amortizing development. No. It's when you have existence of a market. Existence of a market, you have intention to complete, you have capability and resources to complete, and you also have one thing called you're able to measure reliably. So the most basic criteria of accounting is measurement test. You must be able to measure. Something that cannot be measured cannot go into the account. Agree? Now, but there are so many things that we cannot measure, but yet it's so valuable. Example, in the company, do you think the staff morale is important? It's very important, right? Why, you cold? A bit, sorry, okay. Aircon, don't be so cold. Okay, now, now, so the thing is, it's very important, and yet we are not able to measure it. And the stand that we do is when you cannot measure, what do you do? No. You leave it out. You leave it out. It's not in the financial report. You cannot put in something that you cannot measure. So it has been ignored. And when you ignore, what kind of impression you give to the people is not important. That's why you see all the management, when they look into the company, they always focus at financial. They want to make profit. But they always neglect the most important things, which are usually non-financial. Yeah, but they have no choice because they don't know how to assess it. Now, this report addresses the problem. That's why this is very important. So we must see that the traditional financial statement will only recognize example, the measurable cost or revenue. But there are a lot of valuable, we call it capitals, and yet they cannot be included in your traditional financial report. Now, example, your brand, which you cannot recognize because you say it's internally generated goodwill. But to me, reputation is so important. Okay? It can be the thing that really bring you up or bring you down. So why not recognize it? But they can't, because accounting principle is, you fail the criteria. So your brand or your reputation is so important. Now, your staff is so important, and yet you don't recognize it. Your staff may have a value. Imagine if we are able to assess the value of the staff. Let's say because you're so capable, I just give you a simple measurement. You're so capable, so you can contribute so much to the company. So what happened? You're given 50 points. Now another staff not so capable, I'm not able to be a team player, I give you 10 points. So every staff got a number one. So you add up and see, you say at the end of the day, look at all the points. Wow, we very high point. But maybe financially you see your result is not good, but the company will prosper because the staff can drive them. But now you're so prosperous, but you look at your staff all low point one, the company will die one. So at the end of the day, you must be able to assess that. Now, that is what we're trying to do, okay? So let's look at what kind of capital that we recognize. Now, financial, it's easy. It's money. So whenever you talk about financial, you talk about money. Okay, manufactured capital, things that we build. All right, things that we build. For example, your building, your machine, your equipment, your infrastructures. These are manufactured things that we build. Now, intellectual, that's your knowledge, that's your R&D. Okay? Patent, that's intellectual. All right? Number 4, human capital is to do with what? Your staff. Okay? The kind of staff that you have. The people, the staff. Number 5, it's the social and relationship capital. What is a social relationship capital? Now, social relationship talks about your networking. Relationship is about networking. Do you think the who you know worth more than what you know? Again, the question is, do you think the who you know worth more than what you know? Sometimes. Always. Always. You think there are no smart people in the world, man? There's already a lot of smart people. Everywhere got smart people. But why these smart people ends up not so shining is because of perhaps his opportunity. And obviously the opportunity usually comes from the people that are able to give you the opportunity. That's why the people that you know is very important. And do you invest in relationship, guys? Do you invest in relationship? How much is your time that you use to invest in relationship? Because if at the end of the day, you only have 5 friends, in the future you need help, that's the 5 people you go to. But if you have a community of 500 people very close with you, you have 500 potential. So if you sit alone, you got no friend, you talk to nobody, that's it. That's why I keep on stressing and tell students, go around, mix around, build friendship, because this is a safe environment. See the value or not? Now, of course, your relationship won't just end there, and it will continue. Even as you work, you have to invest in relationship. Now, if you don't recognize that, then you find that your journey can be very tough one, because you don't have people to fall back. That's why community is very important. And that's the reason why Facebook, all that is doing well, because they're trying to build communities. LinkedIn is trying to build communities, all right? And I always tell students that you have to build your social footprint. And social footprint takes time. You cannot build social footprint overnight one. For example, I always stress, come to this level, I'll tell students, it's time you can start a LinkedIn account. Do you know what's a LinkedIn account? Now, some of you have not heard of. LinkedIn is usually more at the business level, which I don't use much because I already come out from that cycle. I don't want to get so much social with business people anymore. But if you start a LinkedIn account, you find that you can start connection. And when you start connection, this is where people sometimes can check, you know this person, then they might want to call and ask. Now, you have to build that, and it takes time. Can you see or not? So start doing, because you're building for yourself a portfolio that you have to present to your boss. Let me ask you a question. When I go for an interview, if in front of me they are all ACCA, why must I choose you? I mean, what's so different are you? You pass, she also pass, that's why all get ACCA. So end of the day is who you know. What are there you can offer? So all these make a lot of important ones. So build on yourself. That's called investing in yourself. Alright? So do it. It's very important. Okay? Now, so the relationship is very critical. And this is where we start to recognize example. Relationship is not about the network only. It even go into common value or trust or reputation. Okay. Let's do a simple experiment. Give me 5 cola drink brand. Pepsi? Coca-Cola. Fanta got cola, man? No. The brand. That means Pepsi, Coke, Coca-Cola lah. I mean cola drink lah. Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola. I don't want the company. I just want the brand in it. The trade name. Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola. Okay? Like 3 more. The Diet Coke also by Pepsi and by Coke, right? So it's still Pepsi or Coke lor. Okay, another one. Tesco. Okay. Like that? Yeah. Huh? You are. Okay. Alright. Okay, what else? Huh? Ria. Okay, Ria Cola. Let's see the rest. Huh? Okay, what is that? Okay, one more. Difficult, Cannot find, right? See, that's the problem with branding. Okay, let me just do a next experiment. You're going in a highway. Okay? You reach a rest stop. You want to go there and drink a cola. So your brain is like, Coke. I'm a Coke drinker. I don't drink Pepsi. Okay? If there's no Coke, I rather drink Mirinda Orange. Let's say you're the kind of people. Okay? Now, you want to drink Coke that day. You want to drink Coke. You're pregnant. You really want Coke. You want cola. You go to the fridge. You saw Coke. 1 bottle, 3 ringgit. Then you saw a what? Ria. Wow, Ria Cola. 180. Okay, which one do you buy? Huh? You sell you accountant hello. 180 and 3 ringgit, you still choose Coke Okay, tastes better. Okay, 1 ringgit. 1 ringgit. Still Coke You sure, Bo? Okay, confirm Ria. Now, see Valerie, no, still Coke, alright? 350. I rather don't drink. I also won't buy. Correct no? You rather don't drink. Also, you don't buy. See, until that extent, you just refuse to give the person a chance. Look at the branding effect. And are you telling me the social relationship not important? It's very important. And how did Coke come to that position today? It's because of what they invest. Advertisement. They just advertise until you get crazy, man. Can see or not? McDonald's, KFC, it's very hard for you to come out and accept another brand one because it has always been there. Alright? Now, that is why Mary Brown died so much. They died so much. I didn't say they died. They died so much because they never invest in building their capital. They cut advertisement. That is a very major danger a lot of business will do one. Every time when you're in financial crisis, what will you do? You start cutting expenses. What kind of expenses do you start cutting? Marketing, advertisement, because this is the way. You look at, for example, now I stay in Sri Gombak, so I come in this Jalan Kuching, the highway. I usually don't use unless Saturday I'll use because there's no car. The whole stretch, all these the flyover that they used to put the advertisement on, all empty. Nobody take. Expensive, people all cut. But you cut to a point, nobody will remember who are you already. That's why this is investing. Now, that's because you don't recognize. Now, that's social relationship. Very important one. Now, then we also look at natural capital. Now, natural capital are all the resources that you take. Whether it's renewable or non-renewable, like your water, your land, your mineral, all that. Okay, now, this is the thing we have to see. How do we generate value? And value is capital. So what we are doing is we are going through a cycle. Okay, we're going through a cycle. Now, it's happening every day. It's happening to you. Whether you like it or not, it's happening every day. Alright? Compare yourself 10 years ago and today. Do you think that you're worth more? Wow, what a question, man. Complete silence. Do you think that you're worth more Okay, in what context? Like sell you as a meat. Sell you as a meat is also worth more because 10 years ago you're lighter, now you're heavier. So if I sell per kilo, you get more price, right? So even sell you as a meat, you're worth more, right? Okay, of course, we don't talk about selling you as a meat. Now, your worth will come in what way? Okay, your knowledge. That means your job. Now you cannot even earn money. I mean, 10 years ago, you can't even earn money. Make sense? You can't even earn money. Not even bringing back 500 ringgit a month. But do you think today, if you go out, you can get 3,000 a month? Cannot. Okay, 2,000? Okay, let's say 2,000. 2,000. Let's say you can even bring back 2,000 a month. Now, but what has changed over the 10 years? You. What has changed in you that allow you 10 years ago, you're not even able to make money, but now you're able to make money? Okay, your skills, your knowledge. Now you notice that you are actually going through a capital cycle. When you used to be a kid, okay, let's start right from the beginning, your parent. Your parent created you through what capital? What manufacturer? You robot? You guys are so cute, man. Right? If your parent has agreed to come together because of a contract, like your mom said, you give me 50,000, I will give you a child, okay? Then that's financial, which of course I don't think so, right? Now, I think your parents have come together because of social and relationship, which you call it love. So, they two fall in love. Then they marry. Then they have sex. Then they have you. So you come out. Okay, after you come out, can your parent continue to use love and grow you up? That means they just put you on the couch there and every day just come and look at you, baby, I love you. Wow, then you feel full already, enough already. Alright, just say, I love you. Alright, well, then you get bigger, you get bigger. Can or not? Cannot. So how does your parent bring you up? Food, which come from? She plant herself. At the backyard, she plant the jagung. Now, I mean, it may not be wrong. If she plant the jagung, wow. Okay, if she plant the jagung, then she is using natural capital. Which I don't think that, we do have example of people are still living like that, right? That they plant their own food at the backyard and then they create their own food and then they eat on their own food. But your parent didn't do that. Okay, then how did your parent feed you? Your parent used his own skill. His own skill. What meal? Okay, yeah, meal. Okay, his own skill to work. Now, if your parent only work in office, that means purely is skill. Nothing else already. Because I'm in the office, at the end of the month, salary come. So your parent has exchanged with her time through her intellectual and transformed the time into financial. Then the money is used to transform into food, which is natural, and feed into you and grow you up. And in the midst of growing you, your parent continue to work to get more financial capital to do what? To build your intellectual capital, because to give you knowledge. That's why a parent invested to you 40,000, 50,000 for you to study, to build your knowledge. So now do you see the capital is being transformed? So when your parent transform you into intellectual capital, okay, come to this stage, you are now 22. What happened? Now you go to work. So you started as if you want to recognize yourself, you are a human capital to your parent. Your parents started you with a human capital which created from social relationship out of love, come up with a baby. And then the baby continued to feed through the money, the time, the intellectual, and now you grow up. Now the intellectual capital that is in you together with yourself, you matured lah. You can go out and work. Now when you go out and work, you make money. Now what do you do with the money you bring back? You bring the money back and you keep bringing more money back and you get more and more money back. And now you return the money to your capital provider. Who provided you? Your parent. So you tell your parent, nah, this is what I give you. You see, no? Now, so you see, that is the business model of your parent. Your parent has created a business model of how she generates value for long term. How she thinks that at the end of the day, when she reaches 50 years old, she don't have to worry. Because you are there. But the process can go wrong. For example, halfway through, you become so disobedient. Something went wrong. You neglect your parent. So gone, the investment all habis. You see, no? Now, so these are examples of now. So this is the transformation that we are seeing. But along the way, there will be risks. Are you okay or not? What is wrong with you? Hot ah? Okay. Now, so that explains to us the meaning called capital cycle. If you realize we are keep on cycling or circling in this capital cycle, that we are just changing one thing to another thing. Can you see that? Now, and every time we change, we will ask that at the end of the day, what are we getting? What's the final objective that we are looking for? Okay? Okay, then the next thing is you notice, along the capital cycle, you may have different dependency on different types of capital. Okay, you may have different dependency on different types of capital. Example, when you're just baby, you don't need financial capital, you know. If I give you 10,000 ringgit in front of you, what are you going to do with it? You cannot eat. I mean, you just can't do anything with it. So what you need when you're a baby is your natural capital that become your food. But you imagine when you come to the next stage of life. Now, this is a stage of life that you need intellectual more. That's why most of the thing you're getting is about knowledge. But at the same time, you're building social relationship, you're making friends. But do you have dependency on manufactured capital? Now, not at this stage, right? Like, do you need a car? You say, no, now I don't drive. But you see, when you come to the next stage of life, your dependency has changed. You need a car, you need a house, you're having your own family. So your manufactured capital has moved. And then, of course, the same thing happened to business. Now, let me point to you some example. If I'm going to start college, what kind of capital do you think I will need? Let's take from the example from the very beginning. So there are 6 capital here. Let's just use MCKL for you so you can imagine better. If you're going to begin with MCKL, what kind of capitals that you will depend more to even start this? Of course, you need a lot of money. Maybe to even have a place just like MCKL, you need how many million? Maybe 50? Then, how much do you think you need? If you just want to rent a place like that, easily 1 month the rental, I don't know, maybe 600,000 or 1 million. If 1 million, then 1 year you need 12 million just to pay rental already. That's even renting only, not owning. If you want to own, then you need more than that, man. You think the land 15 million can buy? All these things is expensive, Can see or not? That's why I always tell them, go and play the football there. You stand there only, the most expensive land in KL is there already. Field is very unproductive one. If you're thinking from business point, if this is not Methodist College, the field will not be there. They would have built a building. If I sell the land and ask people to build a building, I get more return. Do what college? Every year make few 100,000 to 1 million. I sell that land, I make a building, I can make 20 years of profit. Think and see. But because owner different, objectives different, okay? That's why a lot of building don't like swimming pool one. Because swimming pool is the least productive part of a building. Hotel, for example, build a big swimming pool for what? You think you can make money in swimming pool? Have party inside the pool? You cannot, man. So, I mean, the side of the pool can, but in the pool, what can you do? That's why a lot of them try to make the pool not as big, but just to have it because they need to have. Because the pool is really wasting money on. That's it only, attractive only, okay? Now, so what do you need? You need a lot of money. What else? Okay, what kind of human capital do you need? Yeah, lecturer means they are more intellectual, right? Do you need people like the laborer and do the hard job? Don't need what? Correct? You need intellectual people rather than the less hard worker. Okay? Now, what else do you need? Okay, in what way do you need social? Feeder. Okay, you need people to feed you, or actually you need branding for people to even trust you, to send their kids to you, all right? Now, what else? You didn't say the very important thing one. The place that we are in, the manufactured capital. In what form? What building? Not just building, what building? Factory also a building, Yeah, you need a school building that resembles a classroom with theaters and stuff like that, but you're not looking at a warehouse, you're not looking at a factory. So the building is very different. Now, you see, now you understand the type of capital if you're a college. Okay, let's say I'm going to do agriculture. I want to start a business planting vegetable. Plant jagung very expensive now. Or plant garlic very expensive. Garlic price increased 3 times, You don't know, because you don't cook, your mother will know. Your mother won't tell you one. Your brother look at wallet, but won't tell you one. See, that's the amount of sacrifice. Mother Days is coming, okay? Buy her garlic. Mother, happy Mother's Day. Wow, garlic. My lecture say garlic expensive. Okay, now, so if you do agriculture, what would you need? Of course, yeah, land. So that means you need natural capital, you need land already. So if you see, if you come here MCKL and do your agriculture business, you think you survive or not? You sure die one, but actually not sure because we still got river. Alright. Hey, hello. Longkang, you jump in and see. Alright. That one is sungai. Sungai Gombak or Sungai Klang? Klang ma. That one is sungai. Really sungai. Go to sea one. You don't believe, you just jump down and swim. You swim, you reach the sea. Selat Melaka, you reach one. That's because the river is contaminated, but it's a river, alright? Pollution. So you come out, your vegetable got more ingredient inside. Iron fortified. Diperkayakan iron, because a lot of iron in the that's why the water like that. Okay. Now, so you need natural capital. So you see, the choice of land is so different because you're doing college and you're doing agriculture. Now, what else would you need? What? Okay, money. You need money. Do you need manufactured capital? Yeah, maybe like machine, but it will be quite different compared with MCKL, right? Like, you may not need this kind of building. I mean, what's the point of having a building like that in the middle of the plantation? Correct. You're not going to have human to stay inside. So that's why the manufactured capital is also very different. The worker you need is also very different. All right. Now, and whether branding is important or not. Do you go to pasar and when you buy the cabbage, you say, hey, this one what brand, cabbage? Or you just buy because it's a cabbage? Okay, then in that case, perhaps branding is not a very critical thing. Perhaps, okay? So it depending on what target segment you're in. Now, so you see here, your capital is so different. So imagine if you're going to start hospital. Again, you see how the capital requirement has changed? Okay, so now you understand, different business needs different capital, okay? Now, then you also must understand different capital dependency will give you different kind of risk exposure. Okay? Different capital dependency will give you different kind of risk exposure. For example, is a flood going to affect MCKL very badly compared with if let's say you are doing aquaculture. Let's say you breed fish. If a flood affects MCKL during a flood and a flood affects a fish breeder, which one will have more problem? Why? The what? Pollutant will just come in. Okay, thank you. I was expecting that. Instead of expecting pollutant come in, the fish so good, stay there only. And then, wow, okay, I won't run, master. Okay, I'll stay here. The flood over, the fish will stay back. And then he said, wow, the fish know this is a hotel for them. The fish will probably swim. Hey, it's bad, you just imagine if you got 100 to 200,000 fish. And if each fish has a gross value of, let's say, 20 ringgit, 100,000 fish times 20 ringgit, one flood will bring all the fish away. What will happen? Total loss. So the risk that you suffer as a result of your capital dependency is very different. So understand, Now, so we understand the meaning of the capital, the dependency, and the risk. Okay, so now we need to look into this. The whole objective is to show how do we create value. Okay? The whole objective is to show how do we create value. Now the creation of value, it's all visible in this diagram. Now this diagram is best understood if it can be interactive, but I can't do that. So I tell you and you imagine. Okay, first take this piece of paper out and fold it into a circle. It becomes like a sphere. That's to scramble it, not to fold it. Okay? Now when you fold it into a circle, how do you see this end? Oops. How do you see this end with this end? They join together, right? Okay, so it's a joint thing. So when the thing join together, it shows you how from 6 channel things come in and go back to the 6th channel. It's like the picture show this thing come in, come out, correct? So you just imagine it's an interactive picture. The thing just keep moving, all right? And it just show you that at the end of the day, this is what happened. Now, and then we have a box that can measure what is your outcome. Okay. If today I'm going to start a college and I will start with, okay, let's say 50 million. Now, let's say I will need to have a 5-story building and I need 80 staff. That's what I begin. Now, what will it be 1 year later? What will it be 5 years later? And what will it be 10 years later? How will it be? It's exactly the same like I told you your parents is given to you. 1 year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, what kind of capital will you create to your parent? See? So at the end of the day, let's say I become so successful, I can buy 10 houses. So my mom created me. And then now there are 10 houses for us to stay. She can choose any houses. Example, you know? So this is how the capital has changed over the year. So I expect that you will say, okay, 1 year later, maybe financially from 50 million, we drop to 10 million. But maybe we have got more building, we have got more equipment, we have got more machine. We have seen our brand become more trustworthy because we invested in promotion. We started with no people know us, now people know us, so the brand is there already. You see, you know? Now then you notice that the human capital is more already. So you notice this is how things has changed after 1 year. Now after 5 years, after 10 years, okay. So the next question is, you should be able to project that things are moving and growing. And ultimately, if you're an investor, which value that makes the most sense to you? It must be financial. Because at the end of the day, if financial doesn't grow, then what's the point of me investing in you, right? Now, so the financial capital will usually be the most important thing. But financial capital is usually reflecting the rest of the capital. Your financial is big because your building is big. Now, that's why everything come back. Okay, so now you understand the 6 things, how it changed. Now, what changes the capital is your business model. Okay? What changes is your business model. Now, it's things that come in, go through your business activities, come up with their output, and get you the outcome. That's your business model. Okay? Now, but the success of your business model, alright? The success of your business model depends on what? Depends on your strategy. The same businesses that you have can fail miserably because the strategy is wrong. Whereas you get another people to do a right strategy, it may work out well. It's like, for example, if I sell you a pass, eat all you can, pay $5.99, you can come to the restaurant any day you like, anytime you like, you come and eat throughout the whole year. Probably the restaurant died by now already. But if you see AirAsia do $5.99 or $4.99, probably they won't die. It's the same kind of strategy, but why that one okay, this one not okay? Because you can see the environment is so different. So the strategy is very important. What strategy do you deploy? Now, and governance is the people. You're talking about the people. You're talking about people and their system. You're talking about the control. You're talking about the brakes. You only know how to drive fast. Nobody stepped the brake. You still crashing. That's why there must be check and balance. Now all that comes from the people, governance. Now, and of course, in any business, you always have risk, right? And risk will be the reason why your business may not do well. Like for example, all of a sudden there's an outbreak. So you see, your airline is very badly affected. Alright? Now at least the corona outbreak only affects the human. It doesn't affect the bird. If it affects the bird, then all the chicken also die. So imagine now if you're doing a chicken breeding, at least you're not so worried. At least your chicken won't die. You see or not? Only human die, but chicken won't die. You see or not? So you're not so worried. Imagine now is a H1N1 bird flu. All your chicken die. You see or not? So you see the risk is very different, depends on the environment. So the risk is there. Now, knowing that there are risks, what should you do? Yeah, mitigate. You do something so that when the risks occur, at least you are prepared, you see. Now, so this is the first part that tells you what can we do with our business. So with that get implemented, what should you see? You should see results. So the results reflects what you do. That's performance. And it tells us about the prospect. And it will keep turning. Okay? Now, that is the beautiful thing about integrated report. It must be able to tell of this story. If you cannot tell this story, you actually fail to present an integrated report to investor. Now, I'm just going to give us something easier one just to finish up before we go for lunch. Okay? Wow, somehow we make it to 1 o'clock, man. Then we can go 1:30, but no lunch. Now, let's say I come to you and I propose I will need $1 million from all of you. Okay? I need $1 million. Now, you're going to ask me the next question, what are you going to do with this money? Okay? So I tell you, I will use the 1 million as a financial capital, plus I will use my knowledge, that's my intellectual capital, plus I will use my connection, because I know a lot of people in the industry, that's my social relationship capital, and that's it. I don't need car, I don't need building, I don't need land, I don't need river, I don't need any oil or any kind of palm oil or cocoa, I don't need all that. I just need 3 things only. Then I will start investing your money. So I'll invest your money. Now, based on the people that I know, based on my intelligence, based on my track record, I tell you I am very sure I'm able to make a return of 50%. So I tell you 50%. So after 1 year, you notice that the 1 million become 1.5. Nothing has changed. I didn't buy building. Okay, I didn't employ staff. I will just get 1.5 million 1 year. Now, second year, I will use the same strategy and repeat. And what will happen is my 1.5 become 2.25. Because it's 50% of 1.5. Okay? Now, but what I'll do is, third year, I will reinvest the 2.25 for another 1.1 something. So let's say we will make, okay, maybe make figure easy, I will make 3.3. But I think what I'll do is, from the 3.3, I will first buy a property that will cost 1.5 million. So my 3.3 become 1.8. I will give you 500,000 as dividend. So my money left with 1.3. And I repeat my cycle to reinvest. So the fourth year, my 1.3 become another 50%, so I get another 650, so I get another 2 million. Now my property, I will rent. So by renting the property, I'll get 10% return, that's it. Give me another 150,000. And property capital appreciation will be there. Let's say you get capital appreciation another 5%, so you get another 75,000. Then year 5, it becomes 3 million. Year 4, year 6 become 5 million because of the reinvestment. Then I will buy another property. So I've got 2 property now. I will give you dividend every 3 years. And then I will show you how that our value will keep on increasing. And that is my strategy. Now that is how I have explained to you in the simplest form what is integrated report. I'm showing you by giving me 1 million, what will you be getting? Now this story is of course come with risks. Now I got to tell you what are the risks. For example, what if my investment didn't turn out well? It failed. It didn't get 50%, it get 30% or get 10%. But this is a simple example of how the business model works. And this is an example of how you thought about the people you need to depend on, the strategy. See, I'm telling you the strategy, I'm telling all the capital transformation. And if you look at that, you say, wow, that means after 15 years, wow, a lot of money come back, right? Exactly. That's if you trust me. Tay Hong Piao, when he started the bank, if you sit down in the coffee table and you ask him, what is your dream? He tell you, this is what I intend to do. From one bank, what I'll do, open up, reinvest, open up, reinvest, open up, reinvest, and come out and expand. In 20 years' time, this is what you have. If you have sat down with him in that coffee table and understand his mind, will you buy his share? Of course, now you look back and say, wow, if I know him, I would have bought. But now, you don't have to know him. You just need to know what is his idea. And we are trying to translate the idea on paper. And that is integrated report. That is the whole idea of what we are trying to do. So it's a very noble thing that can show investors that this is what we can do over a long period of time. Excellent, right? But of course, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of detail. And there's still a lot of risk. And this is an important thing to force the management to think. If not, they never think one. If you just ask anybody, if your parents are doing business or anybody, or even yourself, ask, what will you do for the next 30 to 50 years? I don't know, I get a job, I wait for promotion, then I see what job, then I get another job. That means your whole business model is like that. And you have never even think of capital transformation. But if you have think of capital transformation, you will start asking yourself, in order for me to survive the next 20 to 50 years, what do I need? That's why I say invest in relationship, invest in knowledge. Then you will see how things will change. Invest in your money. Because at your stage now, the best return you get is your time. It's free. You work 1 month, you get few thousand. But the money is always there. It won't grow much. That's why investing is very important. You must pick up all these kind of skills. Okay? Now, this is integrated report. So I have finished explaining to you the main concept. And then if you come to page 100, which is the last page, ACCA got integrated report. They first come out in 2017. They're very proud with their own integrated report because they have it. Nothing great. They are trying to tell you how ACCA will survive the next 100 years. Because people ask questions like, can accountants stay? Okay? Now, if you go to page 100, you can see these are the content of what we normally include in the integrated report. Now, I won't run through anything much because I've given you the concept. Okay, if you read this side of the table, the left side, right, it's actually the same diagram that I explained to you. The external environment, governance, business model, risk, strategy, performance, outlook. It's the same thing. But you're trying to give information for the people to see. That's why a person who read integrated report, they must be able to first understand the big picture first, the macro. You go in, you look at the detail, you cannot see one. For example, you look at the detail, you say every detail, my mother every day feed me with jagung. You don't know what is that. But if you go out, stay from the far and look at the back and look at the big picture, the feeding of the jagung is to make you here today. Oh, now the feeding of the jagung makes sense. You see, So you cannot just zoom in, you must stay, look from the back and look at the big picture. Now that is how you must read and understand integrated report. I can share you example of integrated, or you can Google, okay? Then you will see that the report is there, but a lot of information you read, it doesn't make a lot of sense until you see the purpose, okay? All right, so that's it. We are done. Let's go for a break.